Good morning, dear students. Today we are here to discuss about something a very important topic. That this topic is necessary for the students, and even you joined just now to the college, and you should know the what is the science behind learning and memorizing, or studying and memorizing. See, in our entire life, you know, if we live for 100 years, thinking that 100 years, then 25 years we are spending on learning the things. We go to college, schools, since from LKG, UKG until now you are entered into engineering, and after this also few of you go to master's degree for PhD and all. Here that rigorously we are studying about 25 years we are spending that one for our in our life, right? If you are living for about 50 or 60 years, then I can say that 50% of your life you are spending on studying and memorizing, right? But here, what is the science behind that we should understand. When we study the things, how it will get stored in our brain, and when we want that one back, for example, when you go to examinations or otherwise in a field or in a practical approach, whenever you see a problem, then how to bring back that studied content which is already stored in the memory, that is in your brain, how to bring it back? Is there any science behind that, or just like a thumbnail that what without any rules, just we will go ahead with the things and it will be stored by practicing, and we need to mug up so that only it will come back as a that what memorizing the things. Is it like that, or otherwise is there any standard way of studying or standard way of memorizing? That what we are going to study this one, learn today. Okay, see, here the content of this seminar, I just arranged these all topics here. The first one here is the studying and memorizing. We need to understanding what is the studying and what is memorizing, and structure of the brain, how exactly the brain is there and where exactly this will store and all. Brain waves, sleep management. This is the very important thing for a student life. Not only a student life, throughout the life, 50% of the time we are spending on the sleep, because a day we are working and a night we are sleeping. Okay, is it how to manage this sleep, that we are going to see. Sleep and meditation, and structure of conscious and subconscious mind, language of mind and brain. Okay, and its improvement, how to improve the brain capacity, that is your physical or otherwise physical exercises by doing, or food and its effects we need to see, and daily some activities we need to see. And main important is that is our thinking process. We need to alter our thinking process so that our brain will automatically get matured. Okay, no need to do any physical exercise, no need to take a that very sophisticated or very high protein vitamins food, no need to do so daily activities. If you concentrate on your thinking process, then also we can that would restructure our brain. Okay, that all we are going to study. There might be many questions that in our mind they will be running, that is what we want. You joined as an engineer for the engineering, you joined here for engineering course, and a few of maybe mechanical, electrical, civil, or electronics, many are CS, many students are there. Here you join, what exactly you want in the life, or in this engineering course or today's seminar, what we want, that definition is defining what we want must be a very clear. And what's the wrong with us? Sometimes we always think that something there is a wrong with us, that's why whenever I read, whenever I memorize, it's not storing, or otherwise whenever I want my knowledge back, it may not come. Then you will think that there is a something wrong with us. Like that, there are many questions which will be that what it will be there in your mind. For all of them, today we are going to get the answers. Okay, for example, just out of curiosity, I have made a list of questions, that is how to read. Many of you might be thinking of this one, how to read, and when to read, which is the best time to read, the how much we need to read, how much means that whether it is a 1 hour, 2 hour. Few students are very good at sitting at hours together, 2 hours, 3 hours you sit. Few students after 5 minutes or 10 minutes they will lose the concentration. Like, then how to recall the things? Whenever we sit in the examinations, we try to recall the things we see at the ceilings or that what slab or teachers. How to recall the things that we should know. Then when to sleep? What is the exact time to sleep? Okay, how much time we need to sleep? Is there any that what science behind that 6 hours is a good sleep or 8 hours is a good sleep? Which one we need to believe? When to eat, what to eat to improve memory power? Many people will tell that from childhood, I think your parents will be behind you. Eat this one so that your memory power will improve. Eat that one. That what exactly we need to eat? What is a meditation? Many people will tell that whenever you say that I am not able to concentrate on particular aspect, then a free suggestion will come, do meditation. Then what exactly the meditation meaning? Then how meditation help us to improve memory power? Okay, this also we are going to see. What I can why I can't I sit at one place for hours together? This is a important problem for all the students. We sit at one place and we start studying. After half an hour we want a break, or otherwise we start seeing our charts in our messages, in our WhatsApps. Then again we forget that whether we were reading or whether we are exactly watching the WhatsApp and all. When I get bored, why I get bored? When I open a book, many times it happens when we open a mobile, we get a time that what we will sink into that mobile for hours together. But when we open a textbook, we will not get that what interest in it. Okay, like that many questions are there. Hope after this seminar you will get answers for all of these questions. Okay, first thing you should understand, what is this studying? We tell no, we are studying. Okay, we are studying. See the word study. Study. And you who you are? You are a student. Okay, this student word is derived from the study. The first four letter you can see, this is the first four letters are there. Means the one who study is called as a student. The one who study is called as a student. Then what exactly involves in the studying? That studying means that is a memorizing and recalling. We concentrate about 90% of the time on memorizing, but we ignore the recalling. Say, for example, in your day, for example, you come to college at 10 o'clock, or otherwise 8:30 you come to college. Since from 8:30 you start this one memorizing. Means you start putting into your brain that concepts and all that you are going to putting into your brain. From 8:32 till 6 o'clock, you will gain the knowledge. You will put that everything into your brain. And even evening after that, if you are very studious, then when you come back, then again from night 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock you start studying. Understood? If exams are there, before examinations, about 1 week or otherwise 3 days, 4 days, or just before the day of examination, you start again studying. Studying means what? You are concentrating on memorizing the things. Memorizing means what? Putting the all the matter into your brain. You are thinking that this is called as a studying. No, this is just a 50% of the studying. Then other 50% of the studying is recalling. I think in your childhood or otherwise in your high school or that PU teachers, they might tell you that you always, after reading, you always need to write that what you read. This things will be told you. And mathematics, always they tell that don't read the mathematics, you practice the mathematics, you write it. Means I can say that here the reading means it is a memorizing, and writing means it is a recalling. We need to concentrate equally on reading and equally on writing. Then I can say that your studying concept has completed. Okay, now few questions I would like to ask so that you become very familiar with the word study, right? The studying and memorizing, these two processes are there, okay, or otherwise memorizing and recalling is because of hereditary. Hereditary means what? My father is a IAS officer, therefore I become IAS. My father's memory power is very good, therefore my memory power must be very good. Is it like that? Or otherwise, in our family all are educated, therefore I also become, means without reading also I become educated. My father, grandfather all are toppers, therefore I am also going to become a topper. Is it like hereditary, that studying and memorizing? What do you say? Or influenced by environment? Influenced by environment means what? For example, your roommate is very good in studying and memorizing, his memory power is very good, then when you become a roommate of this person, then your memory power also increases. Is it like that? Because of environment. Or otherwise, if you go to that college you become a very good person, very very educated. If you come to this college, there you may not get a good knowledge. Is it like that? It depends on the environment. Then obviously we say that sometimes it is a hereditary, but it is not compulsorily hereditary. Sometimes it depends even on the environment, but it is not completely depending on the environment. Of course, if your roommate is very strong, then if your roommate memory power is very strong, then you may become very strong by seeing him continuously and following that. And it may also happen that if your father or parents are very good in memorizing the things and studying, then by seeing them you may become the good at studying and memorizing. But each and everything is depending on your approach. Whether you are seeing your roommate as a ideal model, that role model, then if yes, then you will gain the knowledge. If you think that your parents are successful persons, then you may gain the hereditary concepts from your parents. Therefore, each and everything whatever we are today is depending on our decisions. Therefore, the conclusion from this question I can make is this process is spontaneous. You become master in it only when you practice it. You become master in it. And spontaneous means what? The process is spontaneous means you need to put effort on that, then only it will come. It's not like a hereditary, it's not like an environmental, that what influenced by environment. You have to put a effort on it. Then the second question is studying and reading. Studying, reading, writing, memorizing. These all words are there, no? These all terms associated with which part of the body? Okay, just an example, these options are given here. Is these things depending on the stomach? Is these that factors, that is terms, the studying, writing, memorizing, these are depending on the kidney? If your kidney is very good, then you can study very well. If your stomach is very good, then you can study very well. Or brain and heart, which part of this? Then obviously we know this answer, that it is belongs to the brain. Okay, these are all terms belong associated with the brain. Then the next question is, when you read a book or understand, can you observe any physical change in your brain? The question is, when you read a book, for example, this is your head and this is your textbook. When you read a textbook, then after that, is there any physical changes happens in your brain? The brain is going to swell, or when you forget everything, then your brain may become shrink, or your head may become swelling and shrinking. That happens physically? No. Okay, na? That will not happen. That will not happen. Therefore I can say that this process is not a physical. It is not a physical, like you build your body by going to gym, and there you will build the body. Like that, it won't happen like a physical. It's not a physical process, it's a metaphysical, we call. Okay, as you read more and more and understand more and more, your brain expands physically. The same question I am asking, the here stressing on one particular part more and more. As you read more and more means you are practicing more and more. Is that physically the brain will expand? Is it right? Then physically the brain will not expand. The physically the brain will not expand, but the brain capacity will expand. Now the brain capacity will expand, the maturity will expand. Therefore the physically it won't be expanding. Then as you read more and more and understand more and more, your intellectual or neural connections will. Then here I am telling you that what is the neural connection. Neural connection means there is a connection between the one part of the brain to the other part of the brain. For example, when you are a child, if I ask you what is 2 plus 2, then you used to take two fingers this hand and two fingers this hand. Then after that you used to count 1 2 3 4, then you used to say that it's a 4. But now you are telling that 2 plus 2 equal to 4 without even thinking also. Why? Because as you are reading more and more, studying more and more, understanding more and more, you become very versatile. Means what I can tell is that the 2 plus 2, this assignment which is assigned in your brain, for example this part of the brain is assigned this task, that become very well versed. Means that become very practice, that practiced many times, that 2 plus 2 equal to 4. Therefore blindly, even if you are at sleep, then if I ask what is 2 plus 2, then you are going to tell 4, because the neural connections which is used to calculate this 2 plus 2 is become familiar with the task. Understood? Means that also we need to become. Many times what happens, that we tables we remember, 2's table, 3's table, 5 till 5 table we don't forget. What is the 2 4's are 8? See, directly I am going to tell. What is the 12 5's are 60? Many people will may be knowing and many may not be memorizing, right? And like that, the neural connections we are going to make in our brain when you read more and more or understand more and more. Okay? Once the neural connections are set, then you will never forget them. For example, the best example is swimming. If you know swimming, or otherwise leave it. Many of you may not be knowing. Think about cycling. You know the cycling, that once if you understand what is there here, how to pedal it, how to balance this one, then after over. The second time, even after 10 years if I give you a cycle, even after 50 years if I give you a bicycle, then you will sit on that and you will start balancing and pedaling. See, this task has fixed in your brain, but biologically I tell that this task has gained that connection, and that neural connection become very perfect. Understood? Means whenever we read or write or memorize, study, these all things when we do, then we are going to establish the neural connections in our brain. Okay. And can a person recall all the content of the book, that too without reading the same? See, without reading the same, can you recall the things? I am going to ask you that in the next semester there is one textbook, for example second semester, third semester there is one concept. Can you recall that one without reading? Is it possible? No, it is not possible, because we have to store it first inside the brain. Later we need to get the information. For example, first you need to establish the neural connections, then you need to recall the things, right? Therefore this process is not inbuilt, you need to build inside. Okay. From these all conclusions, we got to know that the brain is the main factor, the main part of the body where these all activity will happen. And we came to know that this is not depending on the hereditary, it is not depending on the environmental base, it is all depending on our willpower and our thinking power. And after that we come to know that as we more and more our brain expands, how it expands, its neural connections will be established more and more. Physically it won't affect anything, but neural connections will be extending more and more. These are things we got. From this slide you are going to see the brain. I think you might be knowing this one, because in a PU biology we are very familiar with this structure. This is our brain. You can see the parts here. And now you just see the other view of the brain, and this part is very important in this brain. Okay, that I am going to tell later. That here I think this also you might be drawn in your PU or otherwise in a 10th level, PU or 10th level. What is called as? It is your neuron. I think your biology teachers are very good at telling, like this is a fixed question for your examination about 5 marks or 6 marks, and this diagram will be 100% sure question for your examinations. They tell, no? Then why this is that important? Is it only for examination it is important? Or in the life, is there any lesson to learn from this one? Yes, there is a lesson from this neuron. This is our memory card. This is our memory card. If you put a memory card in your mobile, then you can store many things. See, in your memory card you say that if it is a 16 GB memory card, then let us consider you may fill about 100 songs. If you are putting PDF files, you may put about 1000 PDF files. right? Like that. If it is, what is this space indicates? This space indicates, if you are a CS fellow, you will know that this space indicates number of bytes or bits present here. 16 GB means 16 into 10 raised to G, giga means what? 10 raised to 9. Okay, 10 raised to 9 bytes you are going to put there. Like that, the God has given us a lot of bytes in our brain. We don't know how much space is there in our brain, that till today it's not calculated. How many GB of data we can store in our brain, that is not yet known, right? This is our memory card. Therefore, the concept, whenever you need to study this one, within 1 hour I cannot explain each and everything about neuron. Whenever you come across this term neuron, or otherwise go to YouTube and study what is the function of neuron, how it helps us for memorizing. And the next one is the endocrine system. See, here in our brain there is a one fluid called as I don't remember right now here. That fluid is called as a happy fluid, and that happy fluid, I think it is a dopamine. I don't know exactly dopamine. Let us consider that we will call it as a happy fluid. In our brain there is a one fluid it generates when we get happy. Then what is the meaning of happy? The meaning of happy is, when I ask you that what is the differentiation of e to the power 2x, then if you tell e to the power 2x into 2, then, and if you check this one with the textbook, in the textbook also e to the power 2x into 2, and your answer is also e to the power 2x into 2, then you will get a little happiness. That is called as, at that time this happy fluid will be generated in your brain. Say for example, after doing so many things, after doing many following so many steps, you are going to end up with one derivation. If that derived equation and your textbook equation is same, then you will feel happy. And the thing what you read in your before the examination, before 1 day before the examination, what you read, that derivation, if it appears as it is in your examination, and if you are able to write that derivation in your examination, then you will feel happy. Then that dopamine or otherwise happy fluid will be liberated. See, when these happy fluid will be liberated in your brain, then that will tell you to, that again ask you to do more tasks. Then you become perfect in that one. Right? Therefore, releasing that happy fluid in our brain is very, very important thing. Therefore, you need to find a small concepts, small aspects, and you need to put a lot of interest in it, and you need to get that happiness. Then you can, then your brain will be matured more. Okay. And is it like a set of particular subjects are associated with a particular part of the brain? Is it like in our brain there is a part here, this part is belongs to mathematics, this part belongs to that what science, this part belongs to English or Kannada, languages, like that? Is there anything like this? That you need to ask yourself. Okay, now we are going to come to the answer to that question, is that is there any particular part is belongs to some particular aspect? Say for example, I am very good at writing the poems or reading the novels, but I am very weak in mathematics, and I am very weak in taking the decisions. I am very good at watching the movies, but I am very weak at creating the movies. I am good at watching the movies or otherwise serials, but acting, it is very boring for me. Is it like that, that these all activities all belongs to one part of the brain, and these all part belongs to another part of the brain? Or otherwise, if I ask you one question that, sir, my this part of the brain is weak, that's why I am weak in these concepts. This part of the brain is very strong of mine, therefore I am very good at these all concepts. Yes, this is correct. Okay, this is right. Means in our brain there are particular concepts that belongs to some particular that what part, and some particular concepts belongs to some particular part. That is studied by one scientist, that his name is Roger Sperry. He said that we have a two part of the brain in our head, and the first, we will call this one as a left side, therefore it is a left brain, and this is a right side, therefore we will call it as a right brain. and functions of a left brain and the functions of the right brain are completely different. They are completely different. Here you can see the one figure, it is one photo, it is one image is there. Here it is a key, this is a key, and this is a taxi. This is a taxi. Do you know the taxi will be very huge? That car or otherwise a taxi will be very huge, but key is a very small. If you have a key, then only you can drive the taxi. If you don't have a key, then you cannot drive the taxi. And one more thing, if you have a key and you don't have a taxi, means you cannot drive it, because you don't have a taxi. Therefore having these two is very important. But the thing is that taxi is a very huge. To control the huge taxi, just one small key is enough, like that. But this key is connected to this side, and you can see here the person is who is handling this key, and this side the taxi is belonging to this side. You can see here the taxi, and this is the key. What it indicates, what exactly this is indicated is, you can see here the taxi means, here some points are written here: speech, writing activity, main language center, calculation, that is your mathematics, and right visual field. These all parts belongs to your left part of the brain. Okay, if you are very good at speech, okay, and speech delivery, that you are very good at, you are very good at convincing the people, you are very good at motivating the people, then you are very good at writing. If your language is very good, if your English or some other new language, or you are very good at learning the new language, and your mathematics is very good, then your left part of the brain is active. Your left part of the brain is active. And some other things are there here: non-verbal concepts. Non-verbal concepts means you are very silent, and you will understand it only by listening. You are a good listener. You are a good listener, and when you see a particular thing, then only you will understand each and everything without any going through that one. That, or otherwise, that is called as a spatial perception. But just by touching the some aspects, you are going to understand many concepts. Okay, these all are belongs to non-verbal communication. We will call it a non-verbal communication. That all belongs to right part of the brain. That all belongs to right part of the brain. Understood? Therefore the concepts means, the concepts are completely shared here, means they are all divided to a particular part of the brains. Now you need to do this activity. Right now also you can do this one. If you cross this comfortably, when you cross a finger, if your left thumb is upward, if your this, the which thumb it is, this is a left hand, let us consider, because we are watching it, therefore we will consider this a left hand and this is a right hand. And for this person, this is a right thumb. This is a right thumb at the upper side. Means for this person I can tell that left part of the brain is active. What? Right thumb and left part. Yes, our body designed in a very strange way. That is, if we have a brain either two parts, that is the left brain and the right brain, this left brain is going to control our right part of the body, and right brain is going to control our left part of the body. Left part of the body. Understood? Therefore this, if this thumb is upwards, then I can say that for this person, his left part of the brain is very active. Like that you can compare yourself, check your brain, which part of the brain is very active for you, then you concentrate on that. For example, if your right thumb is upward, right thumb is upward, then your left brain is active. If your left thumb is upward, then your right brain is very active. Active means what? You might be used many you used that part of the brain continuously, you know. Then what all factors are there here, as I listed again, that I am going to list, that is the calculation, mathematics, speech, sequential, procedure, poet, and debate. Talkative, totally I can tell that who is very talkative, then their left part of the brain is very active. And if you are logical, you are comprehensive, emotional, creative, and concentrated, non-verbal intelligence, if your these activities are very good, then your right part of the brain is active. Think that my creativity is more, but I cannot deliver the speech. Okay, I can become emotional, but I don't know how to write the poem. Right? See, I can concentrate more, but I don't know how to concentrate on mathematics. See, these are all why these are all happening. Why these are all happening? The one who is very emotional and very good at the left part of the brain, then his poems becomes very good. For example, if I take an example of Kuempu, then I can tell that Kuempu has a very emotional attachment. His right brain is very active, and Kuempu's left brain is also might be very active. For example, take Einstein. Einstein was good at playing the pianos, that violin. You know? He was very good at musical thing. You know? Then I can say that the concentration may be more. His concentration is very good. Then his calculations may be very good, his procedural things might be very good, his debate may be very good. Like that, if you are this part of the brain and this part of the brain both are good, then only you become a very good at a particular concept. Why we are lagging behind the concepts, why we are lagging behind the success, that is because of this only. My left part is very good. See, I am very good at mathematics. I can do whatever the problem you give. I am going to do that one. But still, I am not standing at first. Still, I am not good. That what I am not become a scientist. Why? Because my concentration level is weak. My right brain is weak. I write many poems. I write many poems, 1,000, 100, 200, poems I am going to write, and I even wrote, but they are not liked by many people because my right part may be weak. Therefore, I may not be emotionally good. My non-verbal communication may be weak. Sometimes I am very silent. People like a silent persons. I am very logical. I am very comprehensive, but I am not able to put them into a words. I am not able to put them into express them into a words. You know the right decision what exactly that at a particular time you need to take, but you don't know how to tell that one to the someone, some other person. Means if we are weak at one part and strong at one part, or strong at one part, or weak at this part and strong at one part, then it will not work out. You need to balance both. Balancing is a life. Balancing is a life. Understood? Then how to balance that one? Look at here. The right part of the brain is connected to left part of the body, and left part of the brain is connected to right part of the body. Then how to handle this one? Then if you want this concept to be very perfect, then you start using your right hand, right leg, and right part of the body. If you want to become a very perfect in this aspects, then start using your left hand, left part of the body. Then obviously I can tell that you are balancing both, then you become very master in a particular aspects. And when you, this is what all about a physical body, but when you come to the mind aspects, then in our mind also we have two aspects, that is the conscious mind and a subconscious mind. Okay, conscious mind means what? That what we are going to take a decision. Now I am talking and you are listening, these all belongs to conscious mind. Then some subconscious aspects are there. Subconscious aspects, for example, when you sleep, you are going to see the dream. You are getting a dream, and or otherwise sometimes your sixth sense you tell. You don't know how it happened, but it will happen. That is the sixth sense you tell. These all happens in your subconscious mind. Now I can tell that the brain, whenever we tell the brain, that is always a conscious. Whenever we tell the heart, that is your subconscious. But actually heart is not a subconscious, but we tell, no, in our Hindi we use that one, dil se kaam karna, dimag se kaam karna, ಹೃದಯದ ಮಾತು ಮತ್ತು ಮೆದುಳಿನ ಮಾತು. ಏನು ಬುದ್ಧಿವಂತಿಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಮತ್ತು ಹೃದಯವಂತಿಕೆ ಬೇರೆ, ಬುದ್ಧಿವಂತ ಬೇರೆ ಹೃದಯವಂತ ಬೇರೆ. Like that we tell many things. Dil se काम करना, दिल से मतलब that heart will not do any work, heart will not think, but whenever you think from your heart, it means that you are thinking by your subconscious mind. Whenever you are thinking by your brain, means you are thinking by your conscious mind. Now we will have a list who is the boss and who is the slave here. Whether conscious mind is the boss or subconscious mind is the boss. Then the answer is here, who is the boss? The boss is conscious mind. You can just have an example of inspector here and sub-inspector here. Sub-inspector here. Sub-inspector will be working under the inspector, therefore he is the slave, he is the boss. Then the conscious mind, who is the decision maker, but subconscious mind, who is a worker. Therefore conscious mind is a boss and subconscious mind is a slave. Then who is strong? The second question I am asking, who is strong? Strong with respect to what? With respect to decision making. Then decision making, then the strong is a conscious mind. Subconscious mind will not take decisions very quickly. For example, when a person with emotionally attached, the person with a lot of emotionally attached, then he will not take decisions quickly. The person who is good at his that what intellectual power, intelligence, then he will take decisions very quickly. Okay, who is strong? Then in terms of decision making, the conscious mind is strong, and in terms of working, then subconscious mind is strong. Then who is sincere? Very important term. Always bosses are not sincere. Bosses are not sincere, but slaves are happen to be sincere. Because if the slave is not sincere, he will not get a pay for his work. But boss is always the boss. He may come late to the his office. He may go early from the office, but slave has to come correct time. Means what? Who is sincere here? The subconscious mind is a sincere, but conscious mind is a not sincere. Therefore, and who is workaholic and who is lazy? Obviously the boss is lazy and the subconscious mind is workaholic. It means in general I am going to tell, if both are very good at workaholic, then the company will go to very high level, right? In general the bosses are lazy and the slaves are workaholic. This is going to happen. And the next one is who is emotional and who is sentimental? Subconscious mind is emotional or sentimental. Then the last question I am going to ask you that this not this one. The last question I am going to ask you that who are you? Who are you? Are you boss or slave? You are a boss or a slave? Then obviously we tell that we are a boss. We are a boss means what? We are conscious mind. We are not subconscious. That is also us only. In advanced topic I am going to compare. I am going to tell you that who is a subconscious mind. For time being, for a beginners, you just think that your mind is your slave and you are a boss of that one. Obviously the mind is our slave. That's why we tell that my mind is not working now. My mind is stopped. Whenever I don't have a mood to work, I don't have a mood to study, then why we tell these concepts? Because the mind or a mood is our slave and we are depending on it. Like that. Then you come to know that the conscious and subconscious mind. Now in the body part, if you think, then which part of the that hand movement, whenever we move upward, downward, then who will be taking care? That is a conscious mind. Watching the movie, subconscious mind. And taking a decision, conscious mind. Okay, thinking is a conscious mind. Sometimes subconsciously we think that we will call it as a dream. Therefore thinking, we can say that there are two types, daydreams and night dreams. Daydreams I will tell that is a conscious, and night dreams are subconscious. And hearing is conscious. Okay, and dreams again told, daydreams belongs to conscious and night dream belongs to subconscious. And digestion power, just randomly I am asking, digestion power belongs to subconscious and it's not a conscious. Then the last question today what we are discussing is about reading and writing. Now tell me, The reading and writing is a conscious or subconscious? Reading and writing belongs to conscious or subconscious? The reading and writing belongs to conscious mind. Whenever I want, I will read. Whenever I want, I will write. But digestion is not like that. When you eat, then the digestion process starts. Whether you sleep or walk, run, sit, nothing. That won't matter. The digestion process is started. But reading is not like that. I have to personally give interest to read and write. I have to give personally a interest to read and write. Therefore, this is a conscious. Understood? Then what about this memory? When we say, see here, it's not visible. This is the memory. What about this memory? Memory is a conscious or subconscious? Then I can say that the temporary memories are conscious. Then the permanent memories are subconscious. Permanent memories are subconscious. For example, when you learn a bicycle, how to that balance the bicycle, how to pedal it, this is your permanent memory that is going to store in your subconscious mind. Then a small thing, what is there on this slide, then you are going to see it and you are going to memorize it. And after a second day or third day, if I ask what was there in that slide, then you will forget it. That is your temporary memory, that is your conscious mind. Understood? Okay. How exactly this process happens is, whenever we read or whenever we write, first we are going to store it consciously into our brain, that is our temporary memory. Then when we do the same exercise many times, then it will go and store in the subconscious mind. That's why I tell you that this is a slave. No, I told you one example. This is a slave means we have to tell many times to do the work. For example, if I tell this person, go and bring my file, there is one file on the table and bring it, then I have to specifically tell him that a red color, this much thin, and this is kept at that corner, this corner, completely I need to tell to this slave, then only he will bring the correct file. If he is educated, then he will not work as a slave. Therefore, our subconscious mind, whenever I want to store a particular concept to the subconscious mind, then I have to understand it very, 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 very clearly. Then only it will store. For example, if I ask you some some concepts, for example, which you are familiar, that is your F is equal to G into M1 M2 divided by D square, gravitational force. Then how to memorize this one, how to put it into a subconscious mind, then I should tell you that, or otherwise you should understand what exactly the meaning of F, what is the meaning of G, M1 M2 D, and these are all terms. If you are very nicely understood, then only it will be stored in the subconscious mind. Just like I tell the slave to my peon to bring my file. Okay, how exactly I have to tell? I have to give a lot of description about that file, then only he will be bringing that file, then only like that only it will happen. It will happening. To store a particular concept, you need to understand it, you need to ask many doubts to your teachers. Okay, then it will store. Then here few questions are there. You can see, who want rest, whether subconscious mind or conscious mind, who want rest? Then obviously conscious mind want rest. Subconscious mind will never take a rest, it will be always working. Who go to sleep? Then conscious mind go to sleep, not subconscious mind. Then who gets tired? Then subconscious mind never gets tired, conscious mind will get tired. Like that. To whom we always want to control, we always tell, no, my mind is not working, I want to control my mind. Then to whom you want to control, whether you want to control conscious mind or subconscious mind? We want to control conscious mind, we want to control our conscious mind. Then again we need to ask who we are. We are what? We are conscious. Then again ask the questions, who want rest? I want rest. Who go to sleep? I go to sleep. Who will get tired? I get tired. Then the last question was, to whom we want always control? Then I want to control myself. The question will be myself, not my subconscious mind. It is a very good one, right? That means here the getting tired or getting sleep or the controlling aspects, this all belongs to me. Therefore, we need to understand ourselves very better. When we understand ourselves better, then we can become a master in a particular aspects. Understanding subconscious mind is not a matter that is not required, because subconscious mind is already understood. It is already doing a very good aspects. We live 50, 60, 80, 90, 100 years, but our body will support us, and a digestion process will happen, and each circulation is happening, breathing is happening. These are all carried by subconscious mind. It is doing good. But then what is wrong with us? The wrong is the conscious decisions, the conscious mind, that is wrong with us. Okay, therefore we need to understand ourselves, who we are, what exactly is made up of, I made up of, that we need to understand. Therefore that is understood by understanding the brain waves. Okay, I think it's the time now to understand what is the sleep waves. We will call them as the brain waves or sleep waves. I'm going to put it in a chart that we have four types of brain waves. The first one is the beta waves, alpha waves, theta waves, and delta waves. We have a four type of brain waves. Okay, the beta waves, we will call that when we are awake, when we are alert. See, now I am talking with you, means I am in beta waves. Means alpha waves means what? When I am dull, silent, going to sleep, sentimental or broken, at that time our brain will be working the alpha waves. And alpha wave is good for study purpose. Alpha wave is good for study purpose. Then how to achieve alpha waves? How to achieve alpha waves? Concentrate on your breathe. Concentrate on your breathe. Just put that what breathe and become a silent. In YouTube, go to the YouTube and you just put a one searching word, that is alpha music. You search this one, alpha music, you will get a very smooth musics, and then put them and just watch them, just listen to those musics, then your alpha wave brains will be activated. Okay, the theta is our dream state. Whenever we are in dream, then our theta waves will be activated. And delta is our deep sleep. When we are in deep sleep, we don't know where we are. For example, when you are traveling from one place to another place, if you are in a deep sleep, then you don't witness each and every activities which are happened while the journey. You will just come to other that place. That is your deep sleep. That is your delta. Like that, we need to understand sleep. Now it is a the time has happened, because only 1 hour was given to me. And if you have any discussion, if you have anything to ask, just write a comment below this channel, or otherwise you make my number will be given to you, that is your 8884561762. This is my number. You can chat with me through a WhatsApp. And if you have any personal doubts or personal issues about brain and brain concepts, you can call also. Okay, and another topic is there, that is what is the sleep and all. The sleep management actually we need to discuss, but it is a very huge. I cannot cover this one with a small time. That's why I am going to skip this concept. And if your coordinator allows, and if you show interest how to manage your sleep, then I will concentrate on this one. At the end, I am going to come that what again to the memory power. Here I told you that conscious and subconscious minds, about this one and all. Then at the last, I am going to tell you how to improve our brain, our neural connections, how to improve our neural connections, how to improve the efficiency of the brain, how to improve the memory power. Here some physical tips I am going to give you, just you can get them. Study at alpha state. Study at alpha state. I told you that go to YouTube and there you search alpha music. I think you will be getting 6 hour video, 11 hour video, 10 hour video, 24 hour videos. See, these videos are a very huge videos. If you have a very good sound system at your home, then put them on. You download this one and put them on. in my room, what I do, when I want to study, then from that sound box or otherwise from the earphone, that music will be kept on continuously. Then I will start studying. Then that is called as a study at alpha state. Okay, then study with the short cycles. Always study for half an hour and take a 1 minute or 2 minute break. Don't sit at one place for 2 hours or 3 hours at a time and study. Always study with the shortest cycles. For example, half an hour or 1 hour, maximum 1 hour. More than 1 hour, if you are sitting at a one particular concept, then take a break. Okay, so that your memory power will be improved. Artificial sleep cycles. Artificial sleep cycles means, meanwhile, just sit at one chair or otherwise at a particular, lean to the wall and just sleep for 5 minutes. How to sleep 5 minutes? Just be calm, don't think much. That is called as artificial sleep. Okay, then confuse your left and right brain. That's very important. From now onwards, do those activities which are done by left hand, you do by right hand. Okay, like that you just confuse your brain. Okay, brush your teeth by your left hand. Write daily one paragraph by your left hand if you are right hand fellow. Okay, like that you confuse your brain. And listen, write, read, write and teach of any particular concept. Just listen it by a video or by your teacher, and after that you read it, a textbook or otherwise notes, and you need to once again write them. And if it is very important concept to your friend, you need to teach the concept. If you do these all four activities on a particular concept, then it is 100% sure that it is stored in the subconscious mind. You never forget it. You never forget it. Then there are some that in your medical store you may get this one, Vandalaga and Shanka Pushpi, Chavan Prash, that is maybe suggested for memory power. Pranayama is a very good part to improve the memory power. That is your oxygen content. See, the brain alone takes a 20% of the oxygens what we consume a daily. See, in our body there are many parts. Stomach is there, heart is there, then circulation is there, breathing is there, many parts are there. But still the brain is going to take a 1/5 of, means that oxygen how much I am going to consume in a day. If I make a 5 parts, then the one part will be going to the brain. Therefore oxygen is very very important. Whenever you start studying or preparing for the exams and all, then open your all windows, make ventilated, then study, do pranayama. Okay, early wake up and early sleep. This proverb you already know since from childhood. Follow that one, early sleep and early wake up. Okay, and dry nuts are very important. That's your badam, kaju, or otherwise akrut, they are all very good. And plus sucrose, that is very important. Say for example, groundnuts are there, groundnuts plus glucose means that jugar or otherwise good. In Hindi we will call it as a good, or in Kannada we will call it as a bella, shenga bella, or otherwise coconut, dry coconut plus this good or bella, this combination is very good. You can have that one. And yoga nidra, self hypnosis means daydreams. Sit at one position and start dreaming yourself. Visualize the things, then your memory power will increase. These are all physical activities you can follow so that your memory power will be improved. Okay, when you come offline, if you are very interested to know about these concepts again and again, then we will have a offline class also. But it is, as being this is online, I cannot interact with you people. But still, if you want to interaction, any concept, want to know more, then you can call to my number or otherwise a chat in a WhatsApp. Thank you very much. Have a good day.